planting seeds. That's what we're talking about today, is planting seeds. And it's a beautiful follow-up to last week's talk, when you all hosted my friend Jackie Hawkins, and she talked about Earth Day and our responsibilities for Mother Earth. And it ties in also perfectly to a letter that I received this week. Unity Worldwide Ministries has an Earth Care team. And this Earth Care team is responsible for supporting all the Unity ministries in finding ways to be kinder to our planet, to finding ways to remind ourselves that we're all one. And so they have a newsletter, and they promote doing things that are kind to our earth. And when I came here to Unity of Wichita, I saw that you had so many programs already in place. You use cloth napkins, you use real coffee cups rather than paper or styrofoam. You use real silverware, there's very little plasticware used. Even when we have an event and there's drinks, we have wine glasses versus plastic. We have a huge recycling bin out there that when it was placed here, I understand that invitations were sent to the community for them to also use the recycling bin. So there's so many things in place. So I had seen an application with this Earth Care team that they were giving out Green Star Awards to Unity churches who had implemented something new. So I tried to think, what have we done differently in this last year? What could I apply for? And then I remembered our pet blessing. Now, the pet blessing had traditionally been done on a Sunday here in the sanctuary, and folks would bring in their pet companions, which was wonderful. But last year what we did was we held it on a Saturday and opened it up to the community at large. And it was a cold, miserable day, I can tell you. I have now learned to hold the pet blessing, the animal blessing, much earlier in the year. But I had contacted the police department, and I had the names and pictures of all the canine units, of the mounted units, and we blessed each one and spoke their name. We blessed all the animals at the zoo, not individually. At Tanganyika, we blessed all the pet companions whose names had been sent in and those who were brought in. We blessed the wild animals of the sky and of the earth and of the water. We made it a day of being truly inclusive in recognizing our oneness. Well, the Earth team loved that. And I was notified this week that Unity of Wichita is one of 7 Unity churches which will be honored at the conference with a Green Star Award in June. Yay, you! So hopefully I'll be bringing home something we can place on our wall and cherish. They also informed me that they will be using this information about making it an animal blessing versus a pet blessing to promote that within other Unity churches, using it as a model. So they're planting seeds, planting ideas of different ways that we can honor our Mother Earth. So today is about planting seeds. And this is an unusual experience for Denny and myself, for we've not lived anywhere where you actually did that. For those of you who've visited Florida, you don't plant seeds in Florida. It's at least not along the coastline where we lived. It's sandy, and although it's very tropical and there's lots of flowers, they all come from bushes or trees. There's no bulbs. It's not cold enough to plant any bulbs, and you just don't see flowers popping up by themselves. And so we're in Wichita. We decided to go for it. So we took a class through the extension office on how to grow homegrown tomatoes. And of course, Denny does things a big way. He built this huge 3-compartment vegetable garden, tomato garden. We also planted some seeds. We planted some bulbs. And of course, we're waiting for the stuff to grow. So I get that in this song where it talks about you can't be pulling them up. We've actually done that with a couple bulbs. You know, we planted them in a big container and watered them, and after a few weeks, it's like, what is going on down there? Is anything going on? It's a temptation, isn't it? It takes patience to just allow it. If it grows, it grows. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And so it's this new wonderful experience of being part of the new growth, encouraging the new growth, nurturing it, babying it. It's a new experience for us. I found this beautiful piece that I'd like to share with you this morning about planting your spring garden. Plant 3 rows of peas, peace of mind, peace of heart, peace of soul. 3 rows of squash, squash indifference, squash hatred, squash bullying or intimidation of any kind. And plant 3 rows of lettuce. Let us be kind. Let us be compassionate. Let us love one another. And water with patience and cultivate with love. For that's what we're here to do, isn't it? We're here to plant seeds of kindness and love, of generosity, of compassion, of harmony, gratitude, forgiveness. All of those things that we talk about each and every week when we come together. And as a community, we decide how we do that. For we're each part of that. We're growing a community that inspires spiritual transformation. That's what we say we are. That's who we say we are. And so how do we model that right here within our community? For we're a microcosm of the macrocosm. What happens in here happens everywhere in our lives. A church community is no different. So how do we model planting the seeds of compassion, planting the seeds of harmony and forgiveness, and allowing that to grow, making space for that to grow, encouraging, inviting, and allowing the seeds to sprout where they will. We don't know that. There's so much we don't know about planting seeds of kindness. We don't know the effect that planting seeds of love has. You may not see it immediately, and you can't dig up that bulb and say, "What are you doing?" Because we've tried that. What are you doing? When we turn to Scripture this morning, we're looking at the Gospel of Mark. And this is a beautiful parable that you all are so familiar with, I know. And it's about sowing seeds. And Jesus says to his followers, "Listen, a sower went out to sow. And as he sowed, some seed fell on the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Other seed fell on rocky ground, where it did not have much soil, and it sprang up quickly, since it had no depth. And when the sun rose, it was scorched, and since it had no root, it withered away. Other seed fell among thorns, and the thorns grew and choked it, and it yielded no grain. Other seed fell into good soil and brought forth grain, growing up and increasing and yielding 30 and 60 and 100-fold. And he said, 'Let anyone with ears to hear listen.'" Now, several verses down, there is a part that is not as commonly shared. But it comes after the disciples go, "We don't get it. I don't know what you're saying." They expressed this in some way. And he said, "Do you not understand this parable? Then how will you understand all the parables? The sower sows the word." So he takes the physical and takes it into the metaphysical for them. The sower sows the word. The word is God. The good news that God is here. We don't have to wait for anything. God is present. There's one presence, one power right here where we are today, tomorrow, yesterday, always. And so we plant that seed. He says there are the ones on the path where the word is sown. When they hear, Satan immediately comes and takes away the word that is sown in them. Now we know within Unity we don't believe in Satan or the devil, and so we see that as error thought. Our error thoughts come up and override that which we know to be the truth. And these are the ones sown on rocky ground. When they hear the word, they immediately receive it with joy, but they have no root and endure only for a while. And then when trouble or persecution arises, immediately they fall away. And others are those sown among the thorns. These are the ones who hear the word, but the cares of the world and the lure of wealth and the desire for other things come in and choke the word, and it yields nothing. So our ego gets in the way. Our desire for materialism gets in the way. And there are the ones sown on the good soil. They hear the word and accept it and bear fruit 30 and 60 and 100-fold. Nowhere in this gospel does it say, well, let's do an analysis first and see if where we're sowing the seeds is a good place to plant. Let's do psychological or spiritual evaluation of those that we are teaching and see if they're actually able to move forth with carrying out the message. Nowhere in here does it say that. It says we are to spread the good news. The good news that God is present everywhere. Spread the good news of kindness and love and compassion and forgiveness. And it's none of our business where it takes root and where it does not. That is not our business. Our business is to plant the seeds, to offer the space for spiritual transformation. There were those who will embrace it in fullness, and there are those who will not, and that's okay. It's our job to plant the seeds. Let's look at the word plant. The P could stand for planning, to have a purpose, an intention about what we're doing. The L, of course, is for love. Whatever you plant, plant with love. Whatever seeds you're planting must first be infused absolutely with love. And then to have an awareness, and perhaps another word would be an allowing of the process, so that you're fully present. You know what's happening. You're part of the process. It's manifesting from you. You're bringing it forth. And then to nurture. To nurture with patience, with perseverance, to nurture with the very essence of who you are. And then T, to trust. There is great joy in releasing expectations. Great joy in doing the planting and then allowing it to unfold when and how it may. There's divine timing involved. I'll have to tell Denny that about the bulbs he keeps pulling up. There's divine timing involved. We may never be around to see those fruits coming forth. And that's okay, because that's not what we're here to do. We're here to plant the seeds. We are all each also receivers of the seed, receivers of the word, receivers of divine guidance in our lives. And so it behooves us to be fertile ground, to be a space that is receptive and allowing, a space that is flexible and encompassing, so that we're part of the experience. For we're always planting. It is always planting season. And so we want to hold our intention about what we're growing. For if we're not mindful of our intention, we may grow something that we never intended to be in our garden. Our thoughts, our words, our actions are all part of that process. And so to be mindful about that, for the universe is very receptive. The universe will mimic that which we say we want. It's the law of mind action. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. Say that with me. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. The universe will give us what we want. It will grow the seeds that we're planting. Last weekend when I was down in Florida with my girls and our grandchildren, my older daughter needed to do some shopping, You all know I'm always down with that. So she needed to do some clothes shopping, and my job was to entertain the 8-month-old. So I have her in the dressing room, and we're dancing, and she loves to stand now and dance back and forth, and we're playing, and she notices what her mom's doing. Her mom's trying clothes on. Next thing you know, Ellis is trying to take her dress off, because that's the game, right? At that age, they're very impressionable. The universe is impressionable. It will bring forth that which you place into it. It will bring forth that which you plant. Always. The introduction to the song, the music video that you saw, Planting Seeds, has this to say. It's the idea of planting seeds without expectation of the fruits. To plant seeds of love without expecting love in return. To plant seeds of hard work without expecting success or accolades. To plant seeds of peace without expecting the world to always be peaceful. In the end, this is what we can do. Plant our seeds, water the plants, and then let them take their own course. Let's look at these words from Planting Seeds. Say them with me together. Whatever grows will grow. Whatever dies will die. Whatever works will work. Whatever flies will fly. Whatever fails will fail. What's meant to soar will soar. We're planting seeds, nothing more. I didn't make you sing it. We'll sing it another time. We are, you and I, all planting seeds, nothing more and nothing less. God bless you. Have a beautiful day.